Get into it.
Y'all are too. SSG versus FUT and A versus SSA. And who's going to take the W? Who's going to even up their standings? The 0-1 matches start now.
And this is going to be a banger. Lemon, I feel it in my bones, okay? Even if the scoreline, maybe we get a dominant showing from SSG, even if it's a 3-1, I mean, I'm not going to throw out predictions here because, you know, you could see FUT make an upset. I don't want to be an idiot. But usually, most of the time, I am an idiot here, Lemon, okay? And I'm expecting something kind of saucy. I want to see something saucy in Game 1 presented by Progressive. Already seeing some decent challenges from SSG. Aggression coming out into play, and this is where they can just start to set up a little shop in the offensive half.
I think a big lesson that SSG did learn, speaking of that aggression when they played against Ultimates, is to temper that. That you can't just be offense all day, all night. You got to be able to cover your back end. And look, FUT did exactly that. Clearance so fast that it almost turned around and spat back in SSG's faces. So you got to be careful.
Got to be careful, but as I was just talking about SSG coming out with some aggression, it has been FUT managing to turn the tides a bit. I like the different counterattacks, a couple of opportunities. Leoro, I keep wanting to say the 100x100
Oreo somewhere?
Yeah, it's crazy. My brain is just on a different wavelength, but so far, it's been a bit of a slow first 60 seconds. I think Game 1, again, going to be that feeler game, see what type of play style each team wants to present with. But slowly and surely, the game will morph and just twist into something else. 3:45 to go. Honestly, I'm feeling like it's been a slower Game 1.
Yeah, I'm pretty jazzed though, because I'm seeing SSG go for fakes, kind of drop it down to each other. VK Salen's kind of just watching it all sail by him, but still kept SSG out of the net. So that's what's important at the end of the day. But you don't want to let SSG get too much space. But how about what Leoro's able to do? And scribbles in the net, keeps it. Oh wait, this somehow still went in. All right.
Somehow. I don't even know how they got this one through. Leoro, he was actually landing on top of the ball. And then it's squeezed past over to Torres, who then bounces it off the post, and it's still trickling out in front of the goal line. And the third man finally comes through and puts it away. 1-0. FUT actually shutting me up and showing what they're capable of.
Okay.
It was kind of a messy defensive line. I feel like SSG had a lot of time to recover and get back into rotation, but still nothing showing up. And here comes FUT again, holding some offensive pressure.
A little goofy so far, but wait, Reveal was almost first up before Leoro able to intercept just in time, but who is ready at the back? Of course, it's Scribbles. He's got a full tank, can't get under the ball, so he won't be able to just air dribble, make it look fancy. Has to be FUT that keeps him humble. They're even taking their boost, but near post defense has been good from SSG, and Leora off the ceiling wants to get it to VK Salen. Now they're just trailing, trying to bait SSG out of the net, and you got the whole squad jumping, and it hits the crossbar.
I really like that pass opportunity for VK. So smart to try and pinch it off the corner. Squeezing in the front of the net. Good mechanics coming out from the blue side. We'll see if they can maintain. Into the corner we go. Right away, I've just been impressed with everything we've gotten so far to FUT. That's a demo. Bump play. Kofer unable to get a touch. Scribbles has to somehow get this ball out of his own half. They're looking to get some dribbles, maybe a slower approach as they just keep it to themselves. FUT are just keen to hold on to this 1-goal lead, but hold on a second. Here come SSG starting to rev up the engine.
Even FUT are generating some threat of their own, and even after that demo, VK Salen is not going to get too much help, but here's Torres with his VK Salen can play interference, and they almost tuck this one to bed, but really SSG are just hitting each other head first, getting in each other's ways, but as long as the ball is out, I guess that's all that matters, but it is still FUT leading, as Reveal will lead that, just get rid of the ball, pop it high, retreat, and wait for a better opportunity, and Kofer could have just created one if Reveal was a little faster, but Leoro just has his number.
SSG look very scrambled on defense. So many different moments where I've seen two players in the same rotation, not really spacing out as much. And it's kind of bleeding into their clears too. One person will just bang it to the other side, and because they're not organized on defense, they can't structure some type of counterattack. And it has cost them a lot of opportunities, a lot of time, which is very precious as we approach the final 60. Space Station will not be able to buy any more time. Something's got to break. Something's got to change. And it could be right here with this counterattack.
Yeah, so she doesn't have to take control of their own destiny. And how about what Scribbles can do with Flip Marisa? These are such mechanical kids, and we've wanted to see that really shine, and it slips by the defense. And at 46 seconds, SSG have a response.
Oh, and it's going to be Kofer, VK Salen, and Leoro both up for that shot. And Kofer is just happy to wait it out, let two players fly by and say, hello, thank you for this open net. I'll slot it in and tie things up.
Oh, wait, Scribbles just gets a good launch, uncontested so much until the back wall. Torres is there, but you can't let SSG do whatever they want. Two on the net, Leora almost just got bumped out of the way. They can't just focus too much on the ball. SSG are starting to get physical off the ball too. But FUT have surprised SSG before with that first goal, but now it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish.
Oh man, I'm getting kind of nervous right now, FUT. Looking for something. I don't know. At this point, they held the lead for so long. I'm not sure if they remember how to get back on offense. But as I say that, they're putting some tester shots towards the goal line. 3 seconds to go. But here comes SSG. You give them an inch, and they're going to take a mile. Ball hits the ground into OT. And the tension starts to rise, Lemon.
Yeah, the OTs that FUT have been able to force before, but look at the way SSG can just air dribble across, set themselves up on offense, and FUT have been too scared to contest more in the midfield. They wait until push comes to shove and backs against the wall. FUT do deliver, but I'm worried about what they can counter with when they give up that much real estate. And Scribbles down low to reveal to an end of overtime and a game one to SSG.
As soon as you start talking about counterattacks, here comes Scribble by himself, past two defenders, off the ceiling, drops it down, and Reveal says, thank you very much. I will take this wide open net. Type of chance he will make you pay. Let's see if that same story repeats itself in game two. But obviously, things have to change, and they will. I haven't seen as many demos, and oh man, SSG this time are getting off on the right foot themselves.
FUT are already extended, but with solo Goose, VK Salen, and Torres just completely getting each other's way in a double commit that leaves Leoro just out completely to dry. So SSG find an early one, forcing mistakes, and the pressure is on FUT to not just turn around this 0-1, but turn around what they had put up at Birmingham, which is a last place finish. So anything would be able to beat that score, and it's already a good performance out the gates, but I think SSG are done playing with their food.
Yeah, but I do think that, you know, that last place performance and potentially not making a deeper run at Birmingham, it seems like a negative thing, but at the end of the day, these guys can come into this land and understand that there's really no pressure. These guys are able to say, look, there's literally only up. We can only go higher. We can only get a better placement, quite literally. So I think that'll actually bode well for their mental. But they've got to get more comfortable. They've got to just somehow get control of this game, which I know is a difficult task to do against the young legends here on Space Station Gaming.
VK Salen was trying to recover that. That's such a good opportunity, and it just gets all turned around. But FUT at least have someone comfortably back in that defensive third. You don't want it to find a gap, and man, just barely pitching that out. That got real scary for SSG to create an even bigger lead. But look, you have this 2v2 towards the orange half, and SSG just catch it in the air, buy enough time, and it's VK Salen who's had a couple of close calls to make some magic happen.
On a weird bump play on their own half. FUT unable to find some type of organization. Maybe things are starting to break down. Kind of get worried, but that's a great pass. Unfortunately, there was a goalkeeper just waiting, anticipating that shot. But more plays like that are required to get through. Kofer, the free jump opportunity, gets in front of it. Not the best touch. Here is a chance for FUT to at least try and starve them out. I'm not seeing any boost grabs. I'm not really seeing any demos that we got from VK, which I think would absolutely help out, do something to keep this ball stuck in Space Station's half, because these counterattacks have been deadly, and Kofer's trying to prove exactly why.
Such good delay from Kofer in the air while there was disruption in the net too. That demo came through and somehow FUT still defended, but wait, well, the ball is low at 50s in the air, and then you have SSG on the retreat, but Reveal will still get a swing at it if FUT are just gonna let it go by. Such a charitable team, but wait, Leora gets the power on it, and it catches SSG off guard.
And I thought it was gonna be VK, but it's actually Torres who's playing the aggressor. sniping out and deleting that last man who would potentially have some type of rotation, could have gotten in front of the ball. We also see another third man from FUT rotating in. Beautiful play, great way to stake your claim and actually not go out without a fight, as things are all tied up in the halftime. The kickoff did go in favor of Scribbles. Let's see how things start to even out as Space Station Gaming start to see a little bit of pressure come their way.
Yeah, good launch from Leora just to let FUT get some resources. They were just running on low, and they can be quite impactful with low boosts. You want to get as much air as you can, especially against a team like SSG. That's where you can force a lot of errors, but Scribbles now forcing it to no one, so this is a ball conceded to FUT.
I did actually really like that from Leora, keeping it grounded, but there's just no flicker follow-up, and oh no, I think this might have been a bit of an own goal, unless my eyes are deceiving me. I'm getting a little bit older here, Lemon, but this didn't look super clean there. No, we don't have to watch the replay. We could just move on. Okay.
Tough one. SSG, they take those any day of the week, every day of the week, actually. Now they got some frontliners too, as SSG got FUT jumping, trying to get out of the way. And it's SSG being so lethal, literally having FUT's backs against the wall. But wait, this counterattack, that pass is beautiful. And Scribbles is still able to get a touch on it while the ball was low.
I honestly commend them for going for a team passing play. It doesn't even look like they're tilted after the own goal. The fact that you could get back into this after such an unfortunate moment occurring, and now you're going for bumps. They've had so many chances. FUT, I mean, these guys looking hungry for that second goal despite the odds, despite the unfortunate situation that they've now put themselves in. It just might have some fighting spirit left in them. We're almost towards the end of the game. They've got to show up. They've got to put something in the back of the net.
Yeah, great clear from VK Salem after that double commit from FUT Esports, who were just still stuck in midair landing, and they can get themselves out of dodge, but can you get yourself on attack? Some demos, smokes, and bumps in the net, and it's the equalizer for FUT.
And absolutely clinical here from Leoro. You saw the chance that was opened up with the demo. There's VK getting aggressive. And Leoro, he sees that entire left side is wide open. And you could kind of feel it. There was some type of shift even after the own goal. They were confident in so many different challenges, winning these 50-50s. Just knew something was over the horizon for FUT Esports. But is there something else to take them to a game win, or can SSG battle back?
I like that high 50 from Torres, yes. You got to be worried if any of the kids on SSG start air dribbling, and also these powerful shots. Torres and Leoro have been ready, but I feel like the only offensive force has been a lot of VK Salem trying to make the big plays. And 20 seconds, you still find yourself tied, but SSG have FUT a little bit panicky. It's VK Salem to Leoro. What's been good about FUT has been the passing plays. SSG got to be around it and in front of it. A chance for SSG to strike as Reveal still bumps in the net, and it's Scribbles that tries to rob Leora, who ditches it, and we go to OT.
And I like that mature play from Scribbles. It looked like he could have gone for a shot on target, but didn't want to risk any potential counterattack. Hold on after kickoff. Actually, I thought that was going to be a dangerous opportunity. It still could be a little bit of boost left, but Scribbles just can't get a piece of it. And we're going to end up going back into the orange half. SSG, they were, calling the goal line, trying to get some type of opportunity. Almost got an answer, but in fact we do remain tied up 2-2. Another OT, and we've got a lot of OTs here on the alt stream. I've been very happy with this, Lemon. We've been getting blessed.
Yeah, see if FUT can bless themselves with an OT win, because the longer it goes, the more stressed they become, and that's when the errors show. And FUT have been able to get clears and sometimes be able to generate offense, but you can't slip up on defense. That's where SSG gonna get you. Now in the midfield, VK Salem just pulling his way through. Look how many people are at the front and extended for SSG. Anyone ready for a pass? And he's just got so many bumps into the net. I'm surprised FUT still have their heads above water. But wait, what can Scribbles do? Reveal tries to open up the net, and FUT get out of the way and in front of the ball. And it's challenge after challenge.
Oh no.
And that's not where you wanted that to go.
Honestly, that could have been a lethal counterattack. It looked like everybody from SSG had committed fully. And even then, FUT unable to find some composure and get a stab back at the opposition's half. ball, shoved to the corner from Kofer. And if there's one player from SSG that I've been mostly impressed with, it has been Scribbles. I feel like every time he goes up into the air, he's either wasting time for his teammates to run back and collect some boost, or he's just pushing this ball forward, creating space with his mechanics. The vertical game from this man has been on top, but how much does it really matter if your defense could break down? That was a scary moment and one that they get away with. But FUT, oh man, they almost had a chance there, Lemon.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes from SSG, but not yet punished. So close, but no cigar. Wait, Kofer and reveal. Turn it around. Leoro makes contact, pops it up, buys time. Here comes VK sailing, but Kofer robs him dry. So it's teamwork that'll make the dream work for FUT, and you're gonna need a hope and a dream to hope to scare Space Station into submission. And for now, no boost, but still vibes as SSG will collect both, and even the ball, and even with some support, they'll still try to drive the stake through the heart of FUT Esports. But Leoro, a solo, and no, even with the defense, it's FUT with overtime.
Space Station Gaming just sending everybody forward, and there was also another demo on the play here. And Kofer tried to spawn in time. Been very impressed with this entire roster as a whole, but this is a similar situation. They were able to take one game off of Gentlemates. However, they didn't take the series and were unable to carry any type of momentum. This is where things have to change. You won a game. What more do you have to offer?
That delay, that fake from reveal to even go fully behind the ball to play the dunk as best as he could. We really wanted to see those SSG mechanics shine, but all we're seeing is some dead cars, a lot of demos to create that chaos. And Leora with the hat trick wanted to pass that down low, maybe to Torres. A lot of forward members from FUT to try and get Space Station on the edge, but it's maybe Scribbles that could have cut through the defense, but not yet.
Space Station Gaming, how do they approach game number 3? Like I said, I really appreciate and respect the risk that they've been taking, their ability to send people and players forward, but I'm wondering if that previous loss has humbled them. Has it diminished and kind of covered a little bit of their light? Maybe their flame isn't burning as strong, or maybe I'm completely wrong as Scribbles trying to do something in the air. I think Kofer was going for some demos too. Just looking to take a couple of pokes at the defense, but nothing yet has been fruitful. Kofer one demo. VK Salen responds to demo of his own. It's getting kind of nasty and gritty on this field.
I think FUT have been expecting that more physicality out of SSG, have been doing a good job not only challenging it, but also getting in front of the ball and not letting SSG take control of that open space. And even though SSG have been so good at delaying while having the ball in the air, you may be worried about that, but with all the demos, I'm more worried about FUT and what Scribbles can do. And it's reveal up next, and VK Salen couldn't get the second touch to lead this into an offense. It's just been SSG hammering FUT right now.
But you don't want to see SSG get plagued with desperation. As soon as they start to get frustrated with how many shots that they're putting on, but how many goals they're not getting, they might send a little bit more players. That was the problem before. But so far, it looks composed, it looks mature out of this young roster. Into the corner, VK Salen to himself, flick over 2 players. Scribbles forced to handle it by himself. He gets by, gets past 2 players. Leoro comes in for the crash on the 50-50. His ball popped up high into the air. Nice follow-up 2 in the corner, but nothing has really just opened up a shot. It's like SSG have some control, you know, might throw or get a couple of solid passes up in the midfield, but nothing else can follow up like this from FUT. Even if FUT doesn't have a lot of possession, they're finding ways to at least take shots on the goal line.
Yeah, a bit of weakness on the defense, not as strong enough touch, and one that was also under the ball that just lobbed it up for FUT to go for a home run with, but off the kickoff, right off the post, that got almost forgiven real quick. And SSG just haven't been able to go for a lot of these passes, so it's been solo plays that have been read like a book. But wait, Kofer, speaking of solo plays, actually bumped off the ball and no boost. But man, this is not a lot of teams can nullify SSG the way FUT have.
Yeah, but hold on a second, Kofer, that's getting creative. Nice pre-jump, and expecting that clear to come his way, and it did, but didn't do much of it. Reveal diving in on this 50-50. And this game kind of feels like an illusion. It feels like I'm being lied to. I see SSG hold all this pressure, and I'm thinking, wait, this is great. SSG are destroying them. They're looking like the team that's going to come out on top, but then all of a sudden, FUT Esports, just one counterattack, one chance to make some space, and they capitalize. It's quality over quantity.
One good counterattack from Foon, that could just be the nail in the coffin, and Leora just finds himself with a free ball, but not an open net, as Reveal trying to pop this up. Good dodge on the 50, 1v2, he can't do it all though. And you feed it to Leoro, who almost gets it to VK Salen. SSG gotta back up the net, and they do, but man, it's panicky, and it's stressful to watch, but Reveal will get on it first to generate some power, some success for SSG. You just can't get shut out by FUT Esports, not like this.
Oh man, I'm in love with this game right now. I love the counterattacks. It feels like it's not coming down to who can hold pressure, but who can see a chance and just immediately jump on it within milliseconds. You have no time to think, no time to work, but Scribbles, he's got space to work with, and if that's the case, it's lights out, 1-1.
Jeez. What a tug and pull over there, and eventually it leaks out to SSG, who just converted at the end, and that was the moment to do it. With how frustrating this has been for SSG to get it going. You know, I just had to pull out the shutout word, and then SSG shut me up real good, but we could be seeing another OT. It's just how long it's taken to get something done.
I expected at this point, 30 seconds, I don't think is enough time for either team to get back into it, and FUT Esports have shown that even if they own goal, they don't really give up or let themselves get into a negative headspace. We saw that previously. So I fully don't expect them to just drop the controller at this situation, even with Space Station Gaming finding some later momentum. 10 seconds to go. Leoro wins that 50-50, sets up Torres, who's also going in for a fake, maybe a bump follow through, but wait, everybody extended, and Space Station Gaming could be on the offensive foot. They take a shot on target. Leoro finds the save. And it has been a nail-biter. Ball is still up. Torres, what else do you got? Let's try and see if we can get something spicy going.
Oh my
a couple
God,
of weird bounces. Get a little scared here, Lemon. What do you think is going to happen?
What do you mean, Scribbles? Scribbles! Oh my God, Torres is there, dude. Everyone from FUT was trying to give him a big ol' hug, and we find ourselves in another overtime.
Yeah. That just feels like it represents what's going on. That ball didn't hit the ground. It literally went into both halves. Back and forth. We've seen so many counterattacks, and I love when we get into this play style of Rocket League because it means the goals, the quality has to be top-notch to get through. And that counterattack has to be explosive, and explosive it has been for SSG. That shot coming in out of Scribbles, slightly too much in the center. There was space on the right side, but they're happy to keep this ball in the blue half and just see what comes of it.
Every game has gone into OT. First one by SSG. FUT won game 2. Who will take the lead in the series? Go to match point. It's a long pass to Torres, just enough to get it to the corner. VK Salen has to challenge Torres is to quickly catch up, but SSG don't have firm control. And that's been the name of the game. We're used to seeing them just air dribble, flip, reset, do everything, and how about what Comfort can do, which is win you in overtime.
And again, it started in their own half. Massive clear down the other side. There's two players swiping across the goal line, and yet nobody can get a touch. And I'm wondering, where was the challenge? Why were there two players in the corners rushing in instead of somebody at least being in the midfield? Maybe they were boosted.
From a hat trick to 7 saves against the 18 shots from SSG. How do you convert almost 20 shots and go to OT, I should say? This is SSG trying to temper the over-aggressiveness from their previous match to just now losing that confidence perhaps, and definitely getting humbled, but now needing that mental reset as we head into our next game.
I've just seen so many like solo air dribbles as well from Scribbles, where he'll stay under the ball, try and force a better 50-50. Maybe that's what's creating so many chances. And here he is just getting bump after bump and letting Koford run away with the ball. And at this point, I mean, I'm feeling pretty confident now seeing SSG start to come out in game number 3 with at least more vigor, it feels like, trying to, I don't know, just dominate a bit more. But as I say that, there's the counterattack. So I'm saying it's an illusion. I mean, like, what do we believe here? What is the real truth? Who actually holds control in this game?
that's the tough part. I haven't seen SSG have the control they've had before, and look, they've lost already control of this game with FUT striking early and fast.
This is what I'm saying. We had all that power, all that control from SSG, but it's Leoro getting the goal. These guys are setting up this trap to let Space Station Gaming overextend and then say hello to a counterattack and a 1-0 lead. FUT find themselves in. You know, it's a risky play. It's a risky approach to have this defensive approach, but is it going to be something that you can sustain for the entire series? And that's why we're seeing Space Station Gaming hold the lead. I just think it's a very difficult strategy, but it might work and it might not. Scribble says, no, thank you.
Spaghetti's on the floor and FUT were all tangled up in this corner, allowing that shot to bounce right back out to Mr. Scribbles, which just signs his name at the back of the net. And in game 4, SSG are on match point. You said this was an illusion, and we're still trying to correct that, as it's been 3 long overtimes, and if the script continues, I feel like we're going that direction too. Wait, Scribbles bumping Leoro. Torres can't handle the heat.
Not only do we get Scribbles demoing and bumping everybody in sight, but then look at this play from Kofer. He has to get that flip reset, and on top of the flip reset, you've got to stay and hover behind the ball and force this one in. Just absolute muscling that one through the defensive line. And while it was set up well from the demo, I really believe in that flip reset air dribble. That was really the sauce in that play.
A recipe to success. SSG don't look too threatened, but Reveal kind of gets in Kofer's way. Maybe they want boost, the other one wants the ball, and that kind of tanglement is what could get FUT back into the driver's seat, at least back into this game. But it's Kofer breaking ankles, breaking axles, and Leoro's gonna go for the safe play. Give him the space, play for the save, but it's SSG with control of the sky and not a fruitful touch to get that momentum going.
Or maybe not a touch at all, just look like a complete whiff there out of Space Station Gaming. But they're not going to be too upset as they already hold the lead. And at this point, anything else is just extra. But halftime is now here. And FUT, just another day of playing slightly defensive. And I feel like they're obviously not choosing this approach, and they're kind of being forced into it. But what else is there? What more could you bring to the table? That's not the best read out of Torres. Getting aggressive, takes out one player. This is what I'm talking about. That's what you need. Some type of firepower, something to keep the ball in the half of Space Station Gaming. And it's going to work out. Torres slots it into the corner.
A slot indeed. What the heck? How did he find this? There's just so many cooks in the kitchen, beautifully placed. And it's FUT staying in the shadow of one of the best out of NA, and SSG do not want to go to another OT. It's pretty 50-50 who's going to come out of that. And SSG look anything but clean, but they want to close this out because they're still on match point, and it's Scribbles with a heavier touch that feeds it back to FUT. And then now Leoro and VK Sailor are connecting, and Reveal's going for both that still manages to save that. Oh, wait. Oh, no.
Here's the follow-up, though. Okay. Lot of last-second dives here from Space Station Gaming. And it looks like they're going to get scored on, but then all of a sudden this counterattack starts to give them the edge. You never know what's going to happen in this series. I love it. Some of the best Rocket League to watch is one where you just cannot predict what's going to happen. And at this moment, I'm really not sure who holds the lead. Whether or not you've got possession on one side, it doesn't really mean anything at this point. At one player in particular, I'm really impressed with Leoro. He has been an unstoppable, immovable force on the pitch, and the guy who's given any sign of life for FUT Esports. You still need something else. Space Station Gaming are on match point, and they're potentially 1 goal away now from knocking you down into an 0-2 record in the Swiss stage.
Oh, Reveal running out of boost, and now him and Kofer have to fight for the corner, and SSG just gonna back pass, and maintaining possession is the name of the game. You still have a whole minute to play with, and Scribbles has a double to play with, and VK Salin just sandwiches himself in the backboard. Kofer's not done with you yet. He demos. Someone finish this off, and there's no one from SSG stepping up, and all they could do was try to stop the retaliation of FUT.
Very uncharacteristic. SSG always have somebody there to dive, especially as that third man. Maybe they don't want to push it as they are on match point and the team that holds all the power. But is that the right mentality? Is that the right approach? The aggression has proved to work so far. Laser beam of a shot from Leoro, but still not going to go through. Reveal back to the other side. It just doesn't want to stay on one side. This ball is just flying all across the field.
It must have been the wind, but wait, it must be Leoro. It must be Torres. Maybe the heroes of food, but no. One thing's for sure, we always go to overtime in this series. But who will go 1-1? And who will go 0-2? Food could do the most hilarious thing and send us into Champions Field. And it's Torres with no boost, but a good teammate front and center with Food sending the whole squad to disrupt.
Torres,
Not opening up the net. A long pass and a beautiful save from Food.
Torres had to be the man of the hour, the man of the OT. He pre-jumped, got up early, and found the save. And he keeps them alive. We might actually think back to that moment. If they can put us into Game 5 and somehow take this series, that might just be the turning point. But not only do you got to show up on defense, something's got to work out on the other half. Torres, this man behind the ball, shut up on the goal line. What else is he going to do? Maybe he'll get a bump. He's over-rotating slightly. Found himself in the other half. We've got two players back on the blue half. Up early is Leoro, finds that 50-50, bounce down into the midfield. A lot of space, a lot of opportunity for VK, but that first touch was just way too past his own grip. And here we go, back to the other side. It just can't sit still here.
You gotta worry about that SSG man that plays deep into the blue territory. These long passes are going to kill FUT Esports if they don't watch their backs. And, well, speaking of backs, SSG got 3 of them playing back and ready to play this against FUT. And it's Scribbles with a good launch, but it's actually a pass to Reveal. Everyone from FUT is trying to intercept, and now the pace is getting faster and faster as overtime builds pressure. Is it Champions Field or is it SSG? Getting the last laugh. It's Reveal in the 1v1 as the last one back, and he gets the last laugh. But what can VK Salen do with the cape on his back? He just concedes the ball, and it's SSG that still rely on Reveal to make the magic he's known for in NA. He's gonna delay. He has space and time to do so. VK Salen won't let the pass go to Kofer, and it's Torres no that will back away and go for the safer play.
It's all coming down to the decision-making of that third man. With how unpredictable this is, not one team has been able to hold on to this possession for too long. And who's going to decide to extend, take the risk as that third man? Because at this moment, it just keeps looking like it's going to be another counterattack. And you don't want to be that player who makes the mistake, pushes forward. But Reveal wants to be that guy who can be the solo man and open up a space for his teammate. But there it is, SSG, fully commit. Everybody went forward. This is what I was talking about. Something was going to break through the third man.
SSG, how they show up tomorrow will definitely garner a lot of attention. But we go to Champions Field between SSG and FUT.
I mean, that would just be crazy. SSG, you lose against the Ultimates. Fair play. Understood. Then you go against FUT. You don't expect a loss. Somehow it happens, and you're 0-2 to see SSG at that lower end stage in Swiss. I mean, what's going on? KC also lost their series. This is just another day of Swiss, and I am so grateful to get to witness it. And we've got an entire game of Rocket League, though, to watch and to prep for, to watch unfold in front of us. That's going to be a passing play, crossbarring down, give and go, dicing it up in the midfield. Here comes FUT.
Change that L to a W. Leoro's simply the GOAT in this series. From hat-trick to 7 saves to the guy who'll nail those on the board every time. Something has awoken in FUT Esports. They know. They don't just think. Now they truly know SSG are a beatable team. NA. Well, you can depend on ultimates. I don't know about SSG anymore, but Kofer, when push comes to shove, here comes SSG.
It's gonna be another air dribble. That's Scribbles. That's his signature move. It feels like the entire series. He gets under the ball, can get over one player at least, sometimes even 2, and then sets up the opportunity. Beautiful mechanics shining through the young man representing Space Station Gaming. And, you know, I thought that FUT got off on the right foot. I was thinking, oh no, this is looking bad for Space Station Gaming. But of course, we can't fall into that trick again of believing one team has the dominance here. It doesn't exist. This is a dogfight here.
Yeah, if you see that goal, if you're an SSG fan, you're like, we're so back. We're so
Yep,
back,
we're so
especially
back.
on the backboard.
After saying it's so over literally 5 seconds ago.
It's the cycle of when you watch a Dignitas stream too, and
Yep,
like now
true.
the SSG watch party, wherever that is getting hyped. When you have a response, it's winnable. But Leoro just gonna get tackled. Ball back to SSG. A 2v1. Taurus is just getting harassed. Gets himself out of the net, and the ball stays out. Kofer's trying to musty bump, dribble, everything. Food just built a wall in front of the net.
There's a wall in front of the net. Space Station Gaming looking to plant some type of C4, but nothing is blowing up right now. We're waiting, seeing who can actually shake things up. Is it going to be a counterattack? Is it going to be a shot from the left side that goes across the net for Kofer? It looks like it. 2-1, SSG holding on.
Kofer has been jacked these last 2 games. 7 saves, 4 shots, 1 goal, 800 points last game, to being the one that keeps the rally going from we're so back to we're just on top. We're gonna win this, but can't feel good to be in game 5, but all that matters is who wins. Reveal not a great touch, and Torres looks for anything he can. And VK Sailing gets recruited into the forefront as Leoro just tried to kick Kofer in the teeth while he was crossing from C to C. And it's SSG that just have to maintain their lead. But against FUT Esports, and I can't believe I'm saying this, you just gotta be careful.
Yeah. And I think that this comes down to who can make a better impact. We've seen Leoro, but hold on, a shot to the right side off the post, back and forth, shot after shot. SSG starting to run away with things and figure out how to put this ball past the goal line.
You saw Scribbles get hype in the camp. Let's go. He's got to be the one, the vibes merchant, the hype guy.
Yeah.
SSG just need confidence. This is not gone how you expected, but it can end the way you expected. And it's SSG so aggressive.
Oh, no.
Demos
Oh,
in the
no.
net.
Oh,
Reveal
no.
about to tuck this in. So close to doing so. Kofer for round 2. And it's not a fatality against FUT, not yet, but VK Sailing has nothing to work with. Demos, it doesn't matter what's in front if he can't hold on to the ball.
This has got to feel so good for Space Station Gaming. I mean, they've been struggling to not only maintain the lead, but also get some type of security. And now they've got a 2-goal gap between them and the opposition. Confidence could be flowing through their veins. You know, Kofer's got ice around his neck, and it looks like he's got ice on the field. And here comes Reveal. Might be stealing a necklace or two because he's looking a little icy himself right here and extends that lead.
Able to stretch for this ball. Able to punish those mistakes from FUT, who are leaving a few too many gaps as they reach up to contest SSG in the air. And this is not the time to slip up, but a 4-1 lead seems so insurmountable. But you just always gotta believe. FUT have gotten this far.
We've seen a lot, Lemon. We've seen a lot this series, but I don't know about a 4-1 comeback. That's another ask for sure.
It's a statement for sure, but I'll quote you if it turns around. And oh, VK Sailing, such a good low 50 played by SSG. They are locked in, and they're able to catch FUT where it hurts. And even in the blue half, SSG are looking for more, and it's Kofer that are not going to let FUT get any more comfortable than they are. And just clearing is all you can hope for, and it's returned right to where it belongs, and another goal for SSG.
And I think at this point, Kofer's winning that matchup of who can really make a better impact, him or Leoro. That's who the matchup has really been in my mind, and so far Kofer, I mean, he has been a superstar for Space Station Gaming. I think when their backs were against the wall and they needed somebody, they put up a bat symbol for Kofer to show up, and he does exactly that. 5-1, and I think it feels even better for Space Station Gaming. I don't think they assumed they'd come out here and play all the way into game 5, but to win it in this fashion feels good. Feels like you're back. You can say we're so back and mean it, and it's Kofer yet again, making his name pop up on our screens. 47 seconds to go. This just looks, unfortunately, too much to handle for FUT.
You know, you and I were exchanging inspirational quotes in the green room to get ourselves hyped up, and for me, all I have is, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
You could just get Braziled in game 5.
Yeah.
But hey, You got a lot of practice out of this. You went all the way to game 5. And if anything, you've raised doubts in the SSG camp of what their potential is. There's a Brazil. That gets some smiles going. Scribbles is giggling and kicking his feet. This is the SSG we know and love.
Just what a frustrating game here for FUT. I mean, they really earned their spot here. Their defense was showing up strong. I thought the counterattacks looked fantastic. Like I said, Leoro is showing up. I mean, that man has been a menace behind the ball, and that's just an understatement. But I don't know. I think coming out here and having this strategy, which might not have been intentional, but the strategy of just playing more defense and hoping that you can get a counterattack in, it's definitely playing with fire. And you've got to have a lot of endurance because eventually it'll run out. And that's exactly what happened in Game 5. Ran out of stamina in Space Station Gaming. We're still in shape, high fitness level, and ready to run laps around you. And that's what happened. Brazil on the scoreline, confidence flowing through everybody on the orange side. And what more can you really expect from SSG in Game 7, and they take the series?
Well, one thing I expected was an overtime, and somehow he didn't get that.
No more overtime.